Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. I'd like to ask you all that if you enjoy this content and you enjoy my narrations, please post a comment or hit the like button. If you want to hear more of my content, please feel free to click the subscribe button and ring the bell icon for notifications for when I drop videos in the future. And now, without further ado, let's get into the stories for this evening. Please lock your doors. I posted this on a while ago, but it got lost. However, since it's been a year after the incident, I figured this would be as good a place as any to share it, as it was about someone I never want to come across again. It all started and ended the day after I took my last final at this community college. I don't know if he was a stalker or if it was a break-in gone wrong. So, from the beginning, I was so nervous that I was going to fail this one class and was not going to be able to receive my AA degree. Later in the day, I was out at the pool at my apartment complex with some friends and roommates when I checked my phone and saw I passed my class. I got so excited I told everyone we were celebrating because I was the last one to have a final. It was 3 days before I got to walk and graduate with this degree that I decided we should have some fun before we all went our separate ways. As it got later into the night, we decided not to go out and stay in. We invited a couple more people over and went on with the night. Around 2 in the morning, people started to leave and head to bed. The only people left were my 2 roommates, both of the people they were dating, and one other friend. We were still messing around, and because our apartment was on the first floor and next to the pool, we went to go night swimming. As soon as we were done with that, I was ready to just hang out and be in for good for the night. My roommates and the other friend all left to go somewhere else for a little while, which was fine. Nothing out of the ordinary for me to be at home alone. I got some food and went to my room to hang out until they got back. The way my room is set up in our apartment, it's all the way in the back, farthest away from the front door, and the patio door. My room is behind the kitchen. You'd have to go through the whole apartment to get there. Because our apartment was in the front of the complex and near the pool, it was near the front gate. At the time, the gate was left open because it was broken. I have never had an issue with living this close up front until this night. My room has one big window, and you can easily see in my room when I don't have the blinds or curtains shut. I had a closet with mirror doors, which, if you look in through the window, you can see every part of my room in it. So while I was waiting for my friends to get back, I fell asleep. The last time I looked at the clock, it was 3:30 in the morning. Also, key part in this, my bedroom light was on when I went to sleep. The next time I woke up, it was around 5:30 a.m. There were slow flashes going off. It was like I had a strobe light going off in the corner of my room. I woke up really confused and thought it was my friends coming back to mess with me. Once my eyes got more adjusted, because the room was now dark, I realized that in fact was not my friends messing with me, but a single man who was at least 6'1", wearing a green Nike hoodie with the hood on it in the corner of my room by my closet, holding a phone up, taking pictures of me. Mind you, I had tiny Sophie shorts on with one of my legs hanging out of the covers. I don't think he realized I'd woken up, and when it really sunk in, I said, "What the fuck?" Instead of coming at me or running out of my room, the man put the phone down and walked out of my room, not saying anything. Not in a panic, just walked out. Me, being the dumbass I am, ran after him saying, "Hey!" I tried to follow him out, but once I got to the front door, I didn't see him anywhere. I ran back inside, woke up all my roommates asking if they were messing with me. When they said no, I called the police. I looked around my room and saw the only thing missing was my laptop that was on my desk in the far corner of my room. The weirdest part about that was the fact that my laptop was in the farthest part of my room with my door closed, and the outside in the kitchen on the counter were 3 other MacBook laptops, 2 wallets, and at least a $300 speaker. But the only thing missing from the whole apartment was my laptop. Later on, I found out that the front door and the patio door were never locked when everyone got back, and the police couldn't find the guy or my computer. What made things worse was that the SIM disk from my camera was in the computer. So all my personal photos from that camera were now accessible to this guy. Some things I saw a couple days later while I was getting ready to move out freaked me out even more. Like I said earlier, if you looked in my window, you could see my closet mirrors, see just about my whole room. One thing that was super noticeable was my tapestry. It was a very distinct and different kind of tapestry. It has 2 wolves howling up at a moon and is all black and white. One day when I was packing my car, I happened to look up. It was starting to get dark, and as I looked up, I noticed in the apartment above mine, through the blinds on the wall, was the exact same tapestry as the one that was in my room. What creeped me out even more was the fact that I had little purple lights put on it from my mom because she knows my favorite color is purple. In that room, above the lights in the fan were switched out for purple ones. As if I wasn't creeped out enough, an all-black cat came up to the window and my stomach started to feel weird because the year before I was still living in my room, I got a baby kitten that was all black. In the end, the guy was never found, and I never saw his face, which freaks me out to this day, and I hope I never came across him again. I never got my laptop back and never found my SIM disk to my camera. My best advice to anyone in a college town is, no matter what, always lock the doors, because you never know what you could wake up to. Burglary horror story. I live in a fairly secure area and have 2 dogs. One is a large Doberman and the other is a poodle. I was home alone as my parents were out for the weekend. Our dogs bark a lot as they're very protective, and the neighbors hate when the dogs barked, and would often get notes telling us to keep the dogs quiet. One of the more threatening ones was that he would hurt the dogs if he wouldn't be quiet. So, my parents had them taken to a dog kennel to avoid any complications. I was home alone, playing video games and watching movies for the weekend. It was the night after they had left, and I was playing a video game. I think it was Rainbow Six Siege. I was playing with a few friends, and I had my microphone on. I was playing with my window open, and my friends kept telling me to stop making a squeaky sound. I questioned what he meant, and my friends said that it was a loud banging. I removed my headphones, and that was when I heard it, the sound of something slamming into the gate. I peered out. It was a tall, stocky man with a black hood on, looking down, slamming his body into the fence. As the fence was weak, the wood was splitting. I decided to call the police, then my parents, but decided to stay near the window, still watching the man. I was talking to the 911 operator. The operator told me to lock myself in a room and get out of sight, and that a police officer was on the way. But curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to continue watching the man when he finally broke the wooden gate off its hinges. But he didn't enter, and he had something strapped around his shoulder, and upon further inspection only from the moonlight, I saw a hunting rifle strapped to his back. That's when I went and hid underneath the bed and listened out for anything, till a loud shatter broke the silence, which was the back door smashing, followed by footsteps entering the house. The intruder sounded like he was searching for something. He was creeping up the stairs until the sound of police sirens flooded my ears, and I made the stupid decision of bolting, trying to escape the house. And I started to get to the stairs and turned the corner, and was greeted by a large man following the description of the man trying to break in. The man gripped my neck, and the police sirens got louder. The police were knocking on the door, and I was quickly losing breath from the man strangling me. The clothing covering his face slipped down to reveal my neighbor. I was nearly out of breath, and he let me go, and gripped his rifle and aimed it at me, and pulled the trigger, but it didn't fire. The dumbass left the safety on. The police kicked down the door and tased the man. The man was found and was charged with breaking and entering and carrying an unlicensed firearm. I'm thankful that the safety was on, and this could have ended very badly. I later went to my Xbox and told my friends what happened and that I almost died. They were very concerned. The break-in. So at this time I was 16, and I'm a female for context. And since I didn't have a job, I babysat kids. I was babysitting 7 kids from different families. I was also watching 3 of my brothers, making 10 kids total. It was snack time for the kids, so I went to go get something for them to eat. I finished preparing the last meal when this shady-looking man approached the house. I told the kids to go in another room and hide. I had a small pocket knife and my phone, ready to protect the kids at all costs. I witnessed the guy try the doors and windows. I called a neighbor. No answer. I went to the oldest kid, who was 13, told her that if anything happened, to sneak out the back door. This kid was pretty understanding and not questioning for a young teen. I saw the front doors locked, jiggling. I told her to gather the kids and run to a neighbor's house to get help. The front door opened as the last 2 kids exited. The man asked in a scruffy voice where the kids were. I had tried to play dumb, but he wasn't buying it. He told me he would shoot me if I didn't show him where the kids had gone. I slowly pulled the knife out of my pocket and stabbed him through the arm. I was not letting him get the kids. He took a gun out and shot at me, which he missed by a lot due to the chunk taken out of his arm. I grabbed ropes off the desk and tackled him to the ground. I tied him to a support beam and ran out the back door. I found the kids with at least 10 neighbors because they'd split up. The cops arrived and took the mask off the person. He was a murderer that no police could find. The cop told me that if it wasn't for my sharp eyes and quick actions, we all would have died. I thank that oldest kid for listening to me, even though there was a large cut on my scalp and a cut down my stomach. I know the kids are alright, and the parents even paid me extra for risking my life to save the kids. I guess this proves not all teens are bad. Man in my house, don't come back. Okay, so first I'll start this off with "this is true," and yes, I don't care if it's used, I would love it. Anyway, I'll start by saying I am a very paranoid person, and the fact that I am alone, home all day, I do online classes, definitely can't help. So I started online school this year. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty boring, but I don't mind at all, really. But as a small child, I've always been afraid of my house. I think it was built in the 50s, so rather new, but really broken down. Our whole basement is the size of the house, and that's where it all starts. I've always had a fear of our basement, and it wasn't just that instinct fear everyone has. I just knew it was much more than that. Our basement has no door, just a long, echoing stairway that you walk down. My mom sleeps down there in her room, and the laundry room, etc., is also down there. So it's not like I'm a complete fucking baby about it. When I walk up the stairs, I see shadows darting across. I sometimes, when laying in my mom's bed, hear footsteps coming from the nearby rooms. I know. That's all just a nightmare for a horror fanatic. But an extremely paranoid person as myself, just starting this school year, my hall light outside my room has been beginning to go out. Even though we've checked its fuse and changed the bulbs, nothing is wrong with it. None of this had been happening since April 2nd, the day after my birthday, when a friend and I played the Ouija board. I did everything properly, said all the right things. Mind you, I had been researching to do it right for the past 2 years. But it worked, and not many problems came to close after that, except for August 2016, when it all went further downhill. Our garage door that leads to our yard is in our kitchen, and I tend to hear it open a lot, and it really fucks me up. But lately, after hearing it open so many times, I've been locking it during the day and before I go to bed. Also, nobody, not even me or my family, have a key to it. This door is extremely loud and creaky, so you know when it's opened. I have 2 Great Danes, and we usually sit in my living room while I work, and you can't see the kitchen or anything from the angle of the room. I began keeping a taser with me at all times. I love it. But before that, after I started locking the back door, I would hear it pop open, and then I would proceed to hear footsteps through the house. Frozen in fear, not knowing what to do at that point, I locked my door and just sat there. I know, stupid. But I always, when the footsteps stop, hear the door close, and my yard door open and close, as if somebody was leaving. One specific time, it was around noon or so, and I remember thinking my dad was home, because what I had been hearing, I yelled, "Hi, Dad," as my dogs went absolutely fucking apeshit barking. And I heard running and the door slam as if somebody had realized I was here and ran out. A few weeks ago, it was a Friday, and my dad had, unknown to my knowledge, come home for lunch around 1 o'clock, and came in shouting at me that he had just caught a man running out the backyard when he pulled up. I remember when he said that, I froze, dead fucking about to shit myself, and just shut down. There had been somebody in my house all those times. So, man in my house, don't come back. 2 attempted break-ins in a month. About 3 months ago, I was babysitting my younger siblings while my parents were out. It was around 8 p.m., and everyone was in the living room watching TV, while I was in my room folding the laundry. Note that my room is located in the back of the house. While I was putting the clothes away, I hear a knock at my window. Without thinking, I opened the blinds a little, and instantly, my soul left my body when I was face to face with a pair of wide hazel eyes staring back at me. I let out an ear-piercing scream and ran to the living room to grab my siblings and take them to my parents' room to hide. While my siblings were confused and asking why I screamed, the back door was practically shaking, as I could also hear someone banging on the living room windows. My sister was already on the phone with the police, and my brothers were hiding under my parents' bed, while I was in the hallway with a long kitchen knife trying to somehow protect them. Minutes later, the banging and the shaking stopped, and I could hear 2 people jumping the front yard gates. The police arrived 5 minutes later and took our statements. After that incident, my parents got a Belgian Malinois dog from the local shelter named Buddy, whom we love very much. 2 weeks later, I was alone at my house with the dog getting ready for school, since school for me started at 10 a.m. because the underclasses were taking the state exams, and the high school seniors like me came to school later. I was feeding Buddy when I hear the front gate shaking, then footsteps walking quickly next to the house, and someone trying to open the back door. Instantly, Buddy's ears picked up, and he began growling and barking like crazy. I was about to call the police when the person fled. Unfortunately, the police never caught the person, and I soon forgot what happened. Then a week ago, someone broke into my dad's car and stole the radio. Yesterday, I was up at 7 a.m. cleaning the living room and decided to have some light in the house by opening the curtains, when sometime later, I saw a truck slowly approaching my house. I hid behind a bookshelf so that the driver wouldn't possibly see me through the living room windows. The truck's windows were really tinted, and I felt the driver's eyes staring at me, as if he knew where I was in the house. He sped off quickly after that. I honestly don't know what's going on, and I hope it doesn't escalate.